Like to stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. We'll call the Monday, March 11th, 2024 school board meeting for the Southwestern City School Board to order.
Mrs. D'Angelo Steele,
Here.
Mrs. Liskini,
Here.
Ms. Martindale,
Here.
Mrs. Peterson,
Here.
Mr. Bosso.
Here. The first item is adoption of the agenda. I move to adopt the agenda for the March 11th, 2024 regular meeting. Can I get a second? Second. Ms. Martindale. Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, roll call.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Mrs. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. The next is approval of the minutes. Approve the minutes for the February 12th and 21st of February meetings as attached. Can I get a second on that? Mrs. Peterson? All right, thank you.
All right, how about Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Mrs. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. On presentation this evening, we'll have two presentations. The first will be the Ohio School Boards Association Media Honor Roll. Evan, there he is.
Good evening, President Bosso, Vice President Martindale, members of the board, Dr. Wise, and Mr. Garside. Annually, the Ohio School Boards Association seeks nominations from member schools of worthy journalists who go to great lengths to relay news about their school system in a fair and objective manner as a part of their Media Honor Roll campaign. Further, the OSBA Media Honor Roll program recognizes journalists across print, radio, and television production who work to get to know district officials and district communications directors, as well as the district's missions and goals, report school news in a fair, accurate, and balanced manner, give a high profile to positive news about schools, visit our schools, and maintain a policy of no surprises by always giving school officials the opportunity to comment on information to be aired or published. It is with great pleasure that I share today that Columbus Messenger reporter Ms. Deidre Cordell was nominated and named to this year's OSBA Media Honor Roll program for 2024. Deidre is an invaluable asset to the district in our communications objectives and sharing news with alumni, parents, community members across the district, and many neighborhood communities we serve. In crafting stories impacting our schools, Deidre does so with the utmost level of professionalism, with due care for both integrity and objectivity in her media coverage. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Deidre forward.
I know this was coming.
I did. I was a little, I thought it was a bait and switch thing, but.
Welcome to the film. The speech is after.
You don't want to give a speech?
The speech is a no comment.
Congratulations. All All right, thank you, Deidre. She does do, like I was telling her, she does do a great job. I don't know, you should read all of her articles. She puts in the message to you guys. All right, the next presentation will be parent engagement with Miss Natalie Grayson, Coordinator for State and Federal Programs. Natalie?
Good evening, President Boso, Vice President Martindale, members of the board, Dr. Wise, and Mr. Garside. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about parent engagement in Southwestern City Schools. Parent engagement is deeper and more meaningful than parent involvement. It is the difference between being present and being a part, between being seen and being heard. We want to see and hear from our parents because without them, we can be good, but we can't be the best. One of our district improvement goals is to increase a sense of engagement and belonging. Students who are engaged and belong enjoy learning. Teachers who are engaged and belong enjoy teaching. Parents who are engaged and belong enjoy the entire school experience. We are being intentional in the actions we take to achieve this goal. The district requires every one of our schools to have a parent and family engagement plan that is developed and reviewed with parents on a regular basis. Those plans include 4 key components: the ways in which parents are engaged in the school improvement plan, how parents receive communications, how parents are informed about the curriculum and programming, and how parents can offer suggestions and participate in decision-making. At the start of each school year, the district says, "We're glad you're here," by welcoming parents and their kindergartners in the first Saturday in August at our annual Kindergarten Stop and Go event. It is held in conjunction with the First Time Bus Rider event at Central Crossing High School and gives kindergarten parents and their children a chance to meet school staff, learn about lunch and breakfast, receive school supplies, a special book to read, other parent resources, and to take fun pictures. Parents across the district have a voice to provide feedback on procedures and programming. Every January, representatives from our District Council of PTAs review and provide feedback on the district's Parent Engagement Board policy and Title I school parent compacts. But the place where parent engagement means the most and has the greatest impact is in each one of our schools. And truly the best person to talk to about parent engagement is your child's principal. I have with me tonight Principal Andy Stutz of Franklin Woods Intermediate and Principal Brittany McDaniel of Finland Elementary to share how they do it. Once they have presented to you, I will be back to entertain any questions you may have. Principal Stutz.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andy Stutz, and I'm the proud principal of Franklin Woods Intermediate. With me this evening, we have Madison Chamberlain, who's with us for Communities and Schools, and also Ayana Scott, who's part of our Second Step program. Before I turn it over to them, I'd just like to share a few slides with you. So the first slide I think is important is talking about our continuous improvement plan. Every year at the start of the year, we get together with staff members and families and parents, and we develop our plan. Through these action steps, it's what drives us throughout the entire school year. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is that continuous improvement that makes us continue with positive feedback in order for us to move forward and plan for future as well. So how do we involve families with the learning process? There are a variety of different ways, and I have several examples here for you. We start off the school year with our back to school night. We look at information on our Title I services. We look at expectations in the literacy and math classrooms. We also look for resources to help support our families with needs that they have as well. On our walls, when you're coming through our open house, you see feedback posters that we're asking parents questions about what they would like to see in the building throughout the school year. That is something we value, and that is something we take to heart. Aside from that, we also obviously phone calls, emails, our portal system. But more importantly, we're trying to take it a step further to engage families with actual content in the classroom. So an example there in our content learning newsletters, we have several teams that will send newsletters home to families that talk about what content is being taught, advice and tips to help support their child on a nightly basis. I have two kids myself in the district, a seventh grader and a sophomore who's in trigonometry. So there's a lot we're dealing with, and I understand the frustrations. We also communicate with our families through IEP meetings. So our student populations, our special populations, we want input from our families on how we can best support their child. So when it comes to writing that plan with our intervention specialists, we take, again, that very seriously so we can make the best outcome for that child. We also have our iReady math program where we use our unit guides to help support. We have those unit guides in multiple different languages, so that way we can reach all of our families and all of our needs. Another thing at the Woods is our student-led conferences. We shifted a while back, and again, feedback from our families, they didn't want to just come in and talk about my child has a B or an A and what does that mean. We shifted based on parent engagement about engaging our kids with writing samples, with reading and writing selections from their book clubs that they're reading, or math activities, games that they can participate with their kids in. So we have shifted that, and we've seen a huge increase in our attendance on conference nights as well. Another big push that we've always been making is our MTSS. That's our response to intervention. And so when we have students that struggle with content in the classroom, we have to educate our parents on how we're going to help support their child throughout the day, whether that's through intervention periods, through our success period, which is our enrichment and an intervention focus as well. We want to walk our parents step by step on what they can do to help their child, because that can be confusing at times. But maybe it's learning about a multi-sensory reading program they're going to be a part of. Maybe it's our word study program where they're working on phonics and other skills that students lack. We want to continue to educate and talk to them about how they can support their kids even at home. The last thing we're doing this year is a big OST push. We've identified over 100 and some kids that are part of our after-school tutoring program, but we're gonna shift that a little bit this year, and we're gonna invite our families in halfway through so that they can engage with their kids with some of that extra learning and process that's going on, so they can support their kids to make that final push and achieve that academic status. One last piece before I turn it over, I think is the next slide, is something that we're very proud of. Again, another aspect that was given to us by parent feedback, something that they wanted. So instead of having our typical Title I nights at 7 o'clock at night, and parents and families are tired and sometimes it's hard for them to get there, we started to put our family curriculum days in the school day. And so you can see this is just a shout out from different topics that we've had with different STEM activities. We've done different culture fairs, Black History Month. There is a variety of different activities that take place related to standards and content where our families can come in. Sorry, Mr. Bozo, I know it's a fire hazard there with, I didn't mark it legally. But it's quite the sight to see. And I know I got some staff in the crowd. We've seen, again, an increase in our family engagement, working with kids in the classroom on content. I think that's so important. But as I turn it over, there's also another aspect with kids, and that's sometimes some of their social and emotional needs. So we're going to turn that over here to talk a little bit about some of our programs. Betty.
Hello, I am Madison Chamberlain, our Communities and Schools Site Coordinator at Franklin Woods. My daily engagements with families cover various aspects, from food box distribution to discussions on clothing, hygiene, behavior, and academics. I would like to spotlight a sixth grade student at Franklin Woods. I was able to establish a consistent line of communication with his mother, and we strategized ways to support her son. Together, we recognized his academic challenges and chose to implement bi-weekly meetings during the school day for academic assistance. These consistent meetings resulted in a praiseworthy 2-letter grade increase in ELA. Ongoing collaboration included the initiation, of an after-school study tables program and regular check-ins with his mother, either in person or via email. These efforts, coupled with a comprehensive meeting with the student's intervention specialists, teachers, and myself, positioned us to provide continued support for a successful transition into middle school. This success emphasizes the impact of collaborative efforts between the school and home for our students' academic and personal development.
Hello, my name is Ayana Scott, and I'm a Second Step coordinator. Second Step is a curriculum we use. It's a positive behavior program, and we get to do a lot of things with it. besides just the actual curriculum. Oh, Megan, she's not feeling well, sorry. Some of the things we do, and we've had a great turnout, is family movie night. The movie wasn't quite over and it was getting late, and we're like, you can feel free to leave, and parents were like, nope, we're staying. So, that was so great to see. The students were so excited. It's really important to have a school and home connection. We are having an upcoming family bingo night next Thursday, if anybody wants to come play. And that's another opportunity for families and students to have that connection. A student said today, can both my mom and dad come because they're in different homes? I said, that's what family is about, yes. So really excited about that. Another homeschool connection is I send Bulldog Brag cards out. And it's so important for us to connect with our students that need that support continuously. But we also want to make sure our students that don't need that support all the time, that they're seen and heard. And so they're doing great in school. They're not having a lot of issues. So I send about 5 a week to families, and just to say, they're doing great, we see you, is there anything that you need? We started a house system this year. It is brand new and we are rolling. But it's exciting because the cool thing about it is that we can use the things in Second Step, and when we meet in our groups, we can do teamwork and we can do goal setting, and it's just really neat to partner together. My last thing, it's very humbling that I'm gonna read a note from a parent. I didn't know that she was writing this, and then Mr. Stutz gave it to me, and it's just one of my whys. Getting emotional. Y'all know me. Dear Franklin Woods, Miss Scott has been helping M transition from online to in-person school. M has anxiety and often struggles with being away from home. Miss Scott has been such a comfort to M. She is always there when M needs her. She greets M with a hug and a smile almost every day. She encourages M to keep trying even when she is feeling sad. Miss Scott makes her laugh. She makes her feel safe and cared for while she's at school. Miss Scott's bubbly personality and drive to provide students with a safe place is what makes her such an amazing person. Her hard work with M has made such a huge difference, and the impact she makes on M's educational journey deserves to be recognized. M comes home from school happy and confident, something I thought I'd never see. Miss Scott is truly one of a kind. She is what every parent dreams of for their children. For so many students, she is home. M looks forward to seeing Miss Scott every day and always tells me how helpful Miss Scott is. I'm so thankful for Miss Scott and everything she does. Thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm Brittany McDaniel. I'm the principal at Finland Elementary, and I brought some of my care team to share some of the things that we do at Finland as well. First off, we start with our Finland days. So we invite the families in during the day. Like Andy said, we have a lot more success bringing them in during the day. So we pack the cafeteria with each grade level one a day and share different things about literacy and math. They play games, they eat cookies, have a good time with their families, and get to show them around the school. So they enjoy that. We also have a partnership with a group called the Big Read in the Big Ohio State Chair. And they invited 30 grandmas from our school. So the grandmas came in and shared books that they liked as from their childhood with the students. So that was real exciting. And the kids got to invite their grandmas. So that was really neat too. And there's just some pictures from our family days, playing some games. So we have some really important groups and some important things that we do. The first is the parent-teacher conferences. Something that COVID taught us is how to use the computer, and a lot of the parents learned that as well. So we also
offer those Google Meets as a way to get the parents in, but we also have in-person and phone conferences, and interpreters are always assigned to parents, so that makes that conferencing easy for those parents because they can choose how they want to do that. Two groups that are really important at Finland, these are our parent groups. They run everything we do. So after school, during school, these two groups are small but very mighty. They run some great things. So our Parent Teacher Association, they have meetings, they offer Zoom meets if people want to join that way. Children are always welcome to join us. We have after school meetings right after school because they know that I have a busy lifestyle. So they, they accommodate everybody. So, and then they recruit at everything we do. They're recruiting people to join us. So they're a very great group of people. Another group is the Guardian Group. So these are people raising their non-biological children. And so we meet once a month, and then we have speakers and resources come into those meetings and provide a lot of support for those and those people that are struggling with that. We have weekend and summer hangouts, at parks, and have cookouts, and they bring a lot of resources to our school to help all of our families. So great group of people that work with me to help with that engagement piece. And then next, I'm going to introduce my care team. So these are our behavior support team that helps with communicating with the parents on a daily basis. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce yourself. Share.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ryan Hartenstein, and I am the Student Support Liaison at Finland Elementary. Just to quickly summarize my role, I focus a lot on providing positive behavior interventions and strategies to students as well as teachers in their classrooms. I also help assist in providing resources to our Finland families and giving them this extra support they need. Our care team consists of me, Trey Mallory, our CS coordinator behind me, as well as a second step coordinator, YMCA Latchkey, and Directions for Youth and Buckeye Ranch Counseling. One of our goals as a care team is to address the student's need and pair them up with the team member who would best help them overcome any barrier to their success. A big part of ensuring that success is having everyone on the student's team be on the same page at school and also at home. So we are working really hard to keep families engaged and continuing to have an open line of communication between the school and home. This is so that we can update the families, but also have the families be able to update us on how we can help better support their student success. And then on this slide, we have more specific ways on how we help tailor that communication. And now I will give the floor to Trey.
Hello, everyone. As you heard, I am Trey Mallory, the Community School Site Coordinator. I've created a various amount of programs at the school to help engage with students and families. One in particular I'm doing right now is the Finland Run Club. And that Run Club, it is similar to that of Girls on the Run, but it's not sponsored as widely as that program. A lot of the students are adopted by the staff at our school and help pay for a 5K that the students get to go to, which is at Silo Audubon Park. That gets the students out of the school and into the community doing things that they most likely would have had the chance to do for if they hadn't, signed up for this program. It teaches them life lessons through running, and it's something that they really enjoy. In addition to that program, I have my attendance support where I call parents and families daily if their students are not at school, or we'll do home visits to make sure that the student and the family is supported in the ways that they need. So through all these programs and the behavior support, we do our best to engage with the parents and families and make sure that the students are successful.
And finally, it also connects with our, like Andy said, it connects with our CIP. So all of this was put into place and agreed upon by our whole staff about ways that we can help support our community and our family engagement through our continuous improvement. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Principal Stutz and your team, and Principal McDaniel and your team. Thank you, board. What questions do you have?
It's a question, but kind of a comment, so I'm not gonna put you on the spot now. Because I might just connect with you later on the side, because these are fascinating and great stories, and this is the things that, it's great to hear, and to see. And what I would like to know is some tips, and I call it tips and tricks, right? To the buildings that are trying to increase their parental involvement, their parent engagement in the building. And maybe then hit us a patch of time where it was going well for them and now it's gonna slow down, and how can they pick that back up? And so maybe it's just refreshing what you were doing before in the past in your building and what sounds great and good now to the era of time. So I might connect with you about that, because I know some buildings who are trying, but maybe they just need to hear some refreshing ways to increase that and get what these buildings are getting.
I love that you asked that question or made that suggestion, because we actually have an agenda item coming in our admin council, and all principals will be there on this topic. And they will get to engage each other with, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because hearing what other schools are doing is often all you need to have a spark lit in you, or even more importantly, listening to your parents. I know in some cases it's hard for some schools to engage with some of their parents, but hearing how other schools are doing that and hearing their voice is really gonna be helpful. So that is coming up, but I would love to talk to you offline as well.
Anyone else? I have two things.
Yes, ma'am.
One was I attended the pancake breakfast on Saturday, and I actually got to meet baby bundt cake, the bunny rabbit. I'm in love. I'm in love with those ladies. They're amazing. So that was so fun. The other thing that I wanted to ask, and this might be something that we talk about later, is your second step behavior program. I would be curious to hear more about that and all of the ways. I know you gave some examples, but I'd love more details about that. And then maybe how we can, are any other of those schools doing that? And, those kinds of things. So that would be great.
Thank you for that. We have a dynamic second step program. We have about 11 schools that have a second step coordinator, and we contract with a phenomenal director of that program who has really tailor-made that program for the schools that each of these coordinators serve. So they can go in with the second step program, but then the principal has the autonomy to say, here's how I like it implemented here. So it's not a cookie cutter, but I would love to talk to you more. I think you'll be really excited. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll move on now to board reports. Any board reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to public participation for agenda items, and we have no participation in that either. We'll go on to student staff achievement liaison report with Mrs. Martindale.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. Got a few exciting things to speak about tonight. First of all, congratulations to Westland High School junior Noah Kershaw for reaching 1,000 career points. Noah reached this achievement against Grove City in February, so congratulations to him. The Westland High School wrestling team took home the OCC Ohio Division Championship for the first time since 2003 last month. Additionally, 10th grader Lucas Crozier qualified for state on March 2nd, so congratulations to these leaders. The Grove City High School Symphony Orchestra recently earned their 16th consecutive superior rating at the OMEA state contest last month when they performed in the highest class, earning superior ratings from every judge. So congratulations, Greyhound. In February, 4 Grove City High School students, Callie Weber, Delonte Timms, Connor Pfeiffer, and Davin Butcher were honored at Franklin County Engineers Week Luncheon for placing second and third in the Central Ohio Mini Bridge competition earlier this month. So congratulations to Callie, Delonte, Connor, and Davin. And then finally, congratulations to Career Technical Director, Mrs. Gavin and Dr. Downing and their team for securing an Ohio CTE grant for the Southwestern Career Academy for career tech equipment. This is very exciting. In total, the Career Academy will receive $313,604 of the state's $67.7 million in funding set aside for grants to expand equipment resources for 11th and 12th grades. to impact new programming at our school. So specifically, we are going to use those funds to cover all equipment costs for the doubling of our pre-nursing program that is already very popular, and opening of our brand new HVAC program, which is set to launch next fall. So we've got some really exciting things going on at the Career Academy, and then getting that wonderful grant to be able to fund all of those. So that wraps up my student and staff achievement report.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Martindale. We'll move on to items for action under fiscal and operational management with Mrs. Liskey.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have 7 action items this evening. Number 1 is revised permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2024. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the revised permanent appropriations for February 2024, CX1. Number 2 is investments and financial statements for February 2024. It is recommended that the Board of Education, in accordance with section 135.14 of the Ohio Revised Code, approve February investments, CX2, and cash position report, CX3. Number 3 is payment of bills. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve payment of bills according to the list of checks for the month of February 2024, CX4. Number 4 is donations. It is recommended that the Board of Education accept the donations of $1,350 as detailed in X5 and authorize letters of appreciation be sent to the donors. Number 5 is authorization to pay bills in accordance with section 5705.41 Ohio Revised Code. It is recommended that the Board of Education authorize the treasurer to pay bills for February, which were not processed in accordance with section 5705.41 Ohio Revised Code, CX6. And number 6 is resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the County Budget Commission as presented, X7. And last is number 7, the appointment to an ad hoc committee to study the scope of nursing services provided by Southwestern City Schools. It is recommended that the Board of Education appoint 2 board members to form an ad hoc committee to study the scope of nursing services provided by the district. The committee will produce a final report and recommendations to be presented to the full board no later than February 25th, 2025. The committee will update the entire board regarding their progress at least twice prior to the final report. At this time, I would like to ask the board for volunteers.
Don't want anybody to speak. You guys can discuss.
Yeah.
You wanna arm wrestle?
Flip a coin. Kelly and Camille.
How should we handle this?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah, president.
Look,
Perfect.
Camille.
Perfect. Kelly and Camille. Thank you, ladies. Mr. President, after reviewing these items, I would like to move them for approval.
And
I'll second it.
Second, thank you. D'Angelo. Roll call.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale, Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. We will go back to Mrs. Liskini.
We have one more item.
Fiscal and operational management.
Under fiscal and operational management. This item is to approve resolutions to file a complaint against the valuation of real property for tax year 2023. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the resolutions as presented in X8. And after reviewing this item, I would like to move it for approval.
Second.
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Roll call.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yeah.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. We'll move on now to items for action under policy, and I'm gonna be reading those. The first reading of new policy. It's policy 8650, transportation of vehicle other than the school buses. It's recommended the Board of Education approve the first reading of the following new policy. The second will be the first readings of revised policies, which will consist of policy number 2623, student assessment and academic intervention services. Policy number 2623.02, which is third grade reading guarantee. Policy number 3120.04, employment of substitutes. Policy number 3140, which is a termination and resignation. Policy number 5200, attendance. Policy number 5460, graduation requirements. Policy number 8390, which will be animals on district properties. Well, yeah, that's right. Sorry. Policy number 8462, student abuse and neglect. Policy number 8600, transportation. And the last policy number 8600.04, bus driver certification. After reviewing these items, I move them for passage. Can I get a second, please? Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Um,
There are some, there's one little thing we're gonna discuss just real quick, and, the policy and transportation in 8600, there are just, more to discuss, just, it's probably fine, but I just wanted to talk about it if we could. It is, which section is this? On page 3. We're taking out, the superintendent is authorized to make any necessary changes in the approved route and shall inform the board at the next regular meeting. I mean, I think that's fine to do, but maybe just to be like, if we got like an email or something from the superintendent saying, hey, these were changed, just so that we're aware of something would be nice. Throughout the entire policy, it mentions every step of the way, kind of where the board is involved in some capacity. So I don't know if that's something that, we can talk about it and think about it before the, not, I'm not sure how the policies are.
As far as me being on the board for the couple of years I've been on there, I've never
Speak
really-
up. We can't
I'm
hear.
sorry. I've never
Microphone.
really dwelled into that as far as I leave that to Tim Cox and Bill, the transportation experts,
Yeah.
in figuring that out. So I mean, I myself do not have a problem with that, but it is something if you'd like to discuss, I'm more than open. This is the first reading, so we continue this.
I'll look into it some more.
Thank you. Any other comments? All right, can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Martindale. Roll call, please, sorry.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes, we're gonna move on to curriculum with Mrs. Liskini again.
Yay. We have 3 action items this evening under curriculum. Number 1 is K-12 school fee schedule for the 2024-2025 school year. It is recommended that the Southwestern City School District Board of Education approve the attached K-12 school fee schedule for the 2024-2025 school year. And if you look at those attachments, folks in the community, there are reduced fees. Number 2, the pay to participate fee schedule for the 2024-2025 school year. It is recommended that the Southwestern City School District Board of Education approved the attached pay to participate fee schedule for the 2024-2025 school year. There are changes on there as well, if you want to take a look at that. We did change athletics and marching band fees to be $50 each. And we changed the family cap to $200. And then number 3 is the first reading of course of study instruction materials. It is requested that the Board of Education approve the first reading of the art course of study instructional materials, grades K through 12 as attached, and that is the Art of Education University. And after reviewing these items, I would like to move them for approval.
Let's get it. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Roll call, please.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale, Mr. Bosso,
Yes. We'll move on now to items for action under facilities development with Mrs. Steele.
Resolution authorizing and approving the award and execution of a contract with Ultimax Inc. for the replacement of the walk-in freezer and cooler at Jackson Middle School. As presented, I would like to move this item for passage.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Liskini. Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Now move on to student, school, and community. Back to Mrs. Martindale.
Thank you, Mr. President. All right, I've got 5 items for action this evening. The first one is Central Crossing High School. NJROTC is requesting to travel to Gettysburg National Military Park. The students will be accompanied by 3 adult chaperones, and all trip expenses are paid by boosters. The second item is Central Crossing High School Color Guard. It's requesting to travel to Highland Heights, Kentucky. Transportation will be provided by private automobiles. All trip expenses will be paid by Central Crossing High School band boosters. Action item number 3, Franklin Heights High School NJROTC is requesting to travel to Chicago, Illinois. Students will be traveling by passenger van and all trip expenses are paid by Grove City. Oh, this is action item number 4, Grove City High School NJROTC is requesting to travel to Clinton, Michigan. Transportation will be provided by private automobiles. Trip expenses are paid by the NROTC. And then action item number 5 is Grove City High School boys soccer team is requesting to travel to Ashland University. This trip will take place over the summer. Transportation is provided by parents. Trip expenses are paid by students. After reviewing these 5 items, I move them first.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Liskini. Roll call.
Mrs. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. The next item is executive session. The board was recommended the Board of Education adjourn the executive session in accordance with policy 0166 to consider the appointment or employment of an employee, public employee. Can I get a motion on that?
So moved.
So move Mrs. Martindale. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Peterson. Roll call.
Mrs. Martindale,
Yes.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. All right, can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. D'Angelo Steele, Ms. Liskini,
Here.
Ms. Martindale,
Here.
Ms. Peterson,
Here.
Mr. Bosso.
Here. All right, moving on, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda for this evening and add the resolution to approve the superintendent, Dr. Wise resignation for retirement purposes and reassign the special assistant to the superintendent. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Ms. Martindale, Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mrs. Peterson,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. We're gonna move on to personnel with Mrs. Peterson.
Resolution to approve Superintendent Dr. Wise resignation for retirement purposes and reassign to Special Assistant to the Superintendent. For 17 years, Dr. Wise has served the Southwestern City School District as Superintendent. Under his leadership, academics, finances, and facilities have steadily improved. Dr. Wise has informed the board that he has made the decision to retire. The board appreciates and recognizes his dedication and commitment to the district, our staff, parents, and students, earning our trust and confidence. At the same time, Dr. Wise is committed to a smooth and orderly transition, and the board values his leadership and desires his input and experience. Therefore, be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education accepts the resignation of Bill Wise for retirement purposes effective August 31st, 2025. The board further reassigns Bill Wise to the mutual agreed upon position of Special Assistant to the Superintendent effective August 1st, 2024, and directs that the process to recruit a new superintendent begin immediately. After reviewing this, I move this for passage.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mrs. Martindale. Roll call.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale.
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. We'll move back to Mrs. Peterson, personnel.
On the board agenda for this evening, we have 6 personnel items involving 157 persons. This includes 10 certificated and administrative resignations, 5 certified changes in employment, 72 certificated employments, 19 classified resignations, 12 classified changes in employment, and 39 classified employments. With this, after review, I move this for passage.
Can I get a second, please? Second, Mrs. D'Angelo. Roll call.
Ms. Peterson,
Yes.
Ms. D'Angelo Steele,
Yes.
Ms. Liskini,
Yes.
Ms. Martindale,
Yes.
Mr. Bosso.
Yes. Moving on, we're going to go to public participation related to non-agenda items. The first speaker is Jamie Price. Jamie?
Congratulations on your retirement. I've already spoke to people higher up. That's why I'm here with the board today, because I am truly disgusted by a few of these things here. I'm raising my son to be a Christian child. There's a teacher at my son's school who's gay. I have nothing against gay people. I got a cousin that's gay. I love him just like the rest of my family. This gentleman has wears gay pride stuff. He has gay pride items in his office area. And for some reason, he was propelled to show the children a picture of his husband. I've mentioned this to the principal, and it still continues to go on. If politics ain't allowed in schools, I don't think this should be allowed in schools either. I feel like this is being impressed upon the kids, and it should not be allowed in public schools, period. Secondly, there's a teacher there named Miss Sanders. He teaches my son 2 of the classes. I've had 2 meetings with his other teacher, but this teacher refuses to come to a meeting. Last meeting I had, I asked for both teachers and the principal to be there. She refused to come once again. My son, I was told my son was doing better the second 9 weeks. Let me back up to the first 9 weeks. After 8 weeks of school, I get a call from Miss Sanders telling me my son hasn't done nothing for 8 weeks in school. To me, I should have been contacted way before 8 weeks in, because there's nothing that you can do when you're 8 weeks in, you got 1 week to do 8 weeks worth of work. So I talked to Mr. Lennox, went in, had a meeting with him. She didn't show up for her. I kept in contact with him. He told me, oh yeah, your son's doing better and blah, blah, blah. Get his second report card. He's got 3 more Fs. My son is not doing good. So when we had this last meeting with the principal, the one teacher, the lunch lady or lady that sits in with the kids during lunch or whatever, and the one teacher, I don't even know his name. They told me we come to a resolution that my son would go into a special group to get some help, because I think he's struggling understanding stuff, so he's acting out so he don't have to do the work. They agreed, said my son would be into a special group. That was 5 weeks ago. My son has not been in one special group yet. I sent a letter to school and the book, the agenda book or wherever they send home. Said if my son's failing in any classes, I would like a phone call from that teacher. Miss Sanders, instead of sending the book back home or calling me, On Tuesday, she worked with my son to get his F up above an F so she wouldn't have to contact me. My question is, if she could have done that this last time, why didn't she do that the other 2 times when my son was failing her class? It's all to keep from contacting me. She told a student in front of my child that I hated her. Not once has those words come across my mouth for that woman. I want my son to respect her because that is his teacher. So I never ever said that, and it should never ever been said to any student, especially in front of my child. The third thing that I've got is the school buses. Running stop signs outside my home on a daily basis. I'm out there yelling at them bus drivers. The next day, they whip around the corner. I talked to gentleman, Tim, right here. He assured me that he's gonna take action on this. I showed him 2 videos of 2 different buses running the stop sign outside my home. They speed through my neighborhood and they run the stop sign on a daily basis, and it needs to stop before kids get injured. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Price. We'll get somebody back with you. What grade was your son in?
6th grade,
6th grade,
Park Street Intermediate.
North Street. Eric, I know you're handling stuff. I don't know. Cheryl or Jamie. Okay, thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Mr. Price. Next is, speaker is Jeff Bingham.
I'll try to keep it short. Thanks, school board, for your guys' help. My son, it was part of the ESC, as part of the ESC program. He's autistic. Last week I had a meeting with Nicole and Dan. I appreciate their time, taking time out of their day to speak with me about my problems, but I did assure them that I was gonna come and talk to you guys as well. I have concerns with the increase of the autism spectrum that Southwest City Schools has not prepared or continue to increase in the, not prepared for the continued increase in the population. They've been outsourced my son's education to the ESC, which we've had 3 good years. This year, since November, has fell off a cliff. He went from going to inclusion, going outside his classroom, being in with gen ed kids, to no longer being in the schools and being homeschooled through the ESC. Problem happened in November. I've asked what happened. I've gotten told what his actions were, but I asked specifically what was the triggering action, and nobody wants to tell me. I've asked to go into the classroom to observe, to see what would possibly be triggering him. It fell on deaf ears. Nobody even, in an IEP meeting, nobody even acknowledged that I offered to do that. I work 3rd shift, I can do it. I'll be tired, but I can do it. All they wanted to tell me was there's no set hour in the school day that he isn't in an elevated state, which this has never been an issue for 3 years, and all of a sudden happens in November. I felt that there was something occurred that nobody wants to tell me about. There's some sort of nobody wants to talk to me about it. They just want to tell me what my kid did that was bad, which I acknowledge. He's autistic, he has outbursts, and they can become violent. That's not out of the norm of the autism spectrum for kids that have trouble articulating what's going on. What I want to know is what happened that caused him to trigger to go to that point, and how to go from he's going to inclusion to he's now out of the classroom and being home instructor, and now going to an autism school altogether. I've noticed a huge difference between the therapists that are Southwest City School employed compared to the ESC employed. They seem better capable of handling him. And once again, that circles me back to why the ESC doesn't want me in the classroom to try to assist initially. And why don't they want me to know what happened in the classroom in November. I know that's a long time, but a lot of time has passed, but I've tried to go through the proper channels. And now I'm here at a public hearing to express my concerns. I do appreciate, once again, Nicole and Dan talking to me for probably over an hour about what has occurred. I'm just coming here to make sure that there is some follow-up, there is some closure, there is some sort of investigation to what happened. Because I feel that I am the voice of my child, I am his advocate. And nobody else is gonna do it, so it might as well be me. And when I'm not being told the truth, it makes me think, what are they hiding? What is going on in that classroom that they don't want me to know about? What did they do to cause my son to go from excelling to being removed from the classroom? All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
If somebody can follow up with me, that'd be great.
Dan will get back with you. Thank you so
Yep,
much.
we already talked, Dan, thank you.
Yep, yes, sir. Next is Robin Hanson.
My name is Robin Hanson, and I'm here to discuss the need of an annual athletic passes for the families in our district. I previously emailed a few board members in January, as well as Dr. Eric Shuey. This topic is extremely important to me, so much that I missed my son's first high school banquet in order to be here to speak with you guys. While we believe that they are currently discussing ideas to make something happen for our district, we want to make sure that all appropriate steps are being taken. A little bit about me. I have a family of 5 that consists of myself, my husband, and our 3 children, a junior and a freshman at Grove City High School, as well as a 7th grader at Jackson Middle School. All 3 of my children play school basketball. We spent over $1,000 this winter season in basketball admission fees, just to watch our 3 kids play. Unfortunately, this amount did not include the siblings coming to watch their siblings play, or my kids coming to watch their siblings play if they wanted to. Oftentimes, we encouraged them to stay home so that we didn't have to pay $8 for them to come watch their sibling play basketball. Shouldn't have to do that. This amount also does not include the fee we pay to participate for each player. It also does not include the money we spend on fundraisers that all student athletes are expected to participate in. We took the time to contact other districts in our area and found that the vast majority of other districts offer unlimited passes for their students and families, meaning they can purchase a pass that will allow them into home events for either a specific season or the majority of them the entire school year. These are all home regular season games with the exception of tournament games. We currently have to pay $8 each for each event, whether you are a student or an adult. 2 of our high schools do offer, to my knowledge, I believe it's 2, do offer a discounted price through the form of a punch card, but this still does not even come close to having an annual pass. While we are appreciative of this small savings, we feel we can do better than this. Ticket sales within a school district should not be viewed as a business opportunity and instead should meet the needs of our families. We have one of the highest percentages of disadvantaged students in this entire area. And you will see on the handout, I've provided you those statistics. I've given you the website. That is from the fiscal year of 2023. Every parent should be able to watch their children play and not worry about this money coming out of their grocery budget. We are providing you with a copy of the research that's been done so that you will see what other districts are offering. We ask that while our district plans and hopefully implements a pass for our families, that they will do their research and do what is best for the families in our community. We ask that our board members remain involved in the process and our voices are heard when it comes to planning and implementation. Other districts have figured out how to make this athletic pass work.
And I'm confident that we can finally right a wrong and make something happen for our community as well. So we look forward to working with you on this.
Thank you so
That's all
much.
I have.
Next, we'll have Joe Richter.
Evening, thank you. My name is Joe Richter. I've been a resident of Grove City since 2004. I have a daughter that is a junior at Grove City High School. She plays volleyball and basketball. I also have a son that attends Jackson Middle School. He is an 8th grader, also plays sports. I am a sports enthusiast by nature, and my wife donates numerous hours serving as an athletic booster trustee for the Grove City High School. Over the past 3 years, we have put a lot of money into attending our children's sporting events and other sporting events and our children's sporting events and other sporting events as well. Like I said, I am an enthusiast. I love watching high school sports, particularly basketball and baseball. I have personally experienced parents sharing that only one of them could attend their child's game due to the cost of a ticket, and that admission negatively impacting their family's finances. To be fully transparent, we too have had to make decisions due to the snowball effect of attending multiple games within the same week. I feel the cost of tickets is especially problematic in our district and further widens the gap between the varying socioeconomic groups and negatively impacts the overall culture of the sports programs. Building a successful athletic culture begins with the youth of the community. Allowing the youth access to the athletic contest is key to starting a successful culture. We are currently living in a state in which we are constantly plagued with news of teen suicide rates and negative impact of social media. Yet we are not allowing sporting events to be accessible to many of our students due to the sheer costs. As of right now, students are only allowed to attend if they pay a full price for a ticket. Even if one group of athletes finishes up a practice and wants to go out and watch a contest for 10 or 20 minutes, they are required to pay admission to that contest. Creating an environment that welcomes the youth leads to a stronger community. Making games accessible for more of our youth will allow them to interact with peers in person, build relationships, and create memories. Changing the structure of payment for sporting events could send the message to our youth that their presence is welcomed and they could have the opportunity to stop in at a game, whether it be for 10 minutes or the entire contest. Having a student body presence creates an atmosphere for the competing athletes to feed off of and quite possibly perform at a higher level. Additionally, giving more families the opportunity to attend sporting events will bring parents in the door, build community, and families may feel more invested in their schools. Finally, I'd like to touch on the Ohio High School Athletic Association. I know they have an obligation as a governing body, but it seems in the past couple decades, it's become more of a business than it is, helping the student athletes. I think this is an opportunity for the Southwestern City School Districts to step up and, provide that, become just an influence over the Ohio, over the sports and not only in Columbus, but the state of Ohio. So I appreciate your time tonight and hopefully we can work together. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next will be Gina Vehorn.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me your time this evening. My name is Gina Vehorn. I'm a resident of Grove City and a mom of 3 daughters who've attended Southwestern City Schools their entire schooling. I spent almost 20 years working in various roles throughout the district, and as a result, I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what it's like not only to be an employee in the district, but a resident and parent. My oldest daughter, Brooke, graduated last spring, My two youngest daughters are active in school athletics. Morgan is a junior at Grove City High School, and she's been lucky enough to play high school soccer the past 3 seasons. Jill is currently a 7th grader at Jackson Middle School. She also hopes to play high school soccer, but currently participates in track and cross country at the middle school level. I'm here today to ask that the board consider a more affordable option for parents and students who wish to attend extracurricular activities. More specifically, I'm asking that we find a way to make an all-season, all-event pass available for all of our families and community members. This request has come after some basic research into the practices around the state of Ohio. I wanted to share a couple bits of information I was able to gather about districts both in central Ohio and around the state. Currently, I work at Bexley City Schools. This district offers a Lion Pass. It is valid for all seasons, all sports, all theater productions, and many student council events, such as homecoming. Cost is $100 a year, or $40 per season. In Dublin City Schools, parents and community members can purchase an all sports pass, which is valid for all seasons and doesn't include non-tournament contests. This includes all levels and all sports. The prices are students for $63, adults for $103, and a family of 4 pass for $253. The website also explains that they would only be responsible for paying for one fee by purchasing their pass online. So I have quite a few examples that I have already given you. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I did want to share the information I was able to find. I also did want to look beyond central Ohio and find districts with comparable and similar demographics. The Ohio Department of Education lists 20 districts that they consider comparable to our district. Kettering is on the list. The adult pass for all seasons, all sports for Kettering is $90. The family of 4 pass for all seasons, all sports includes four tickets for any contest, $265. A family of 8 pass is $315, all sports, all seasons. Students can get into any contest throughout the entire school year for $50. And seniors are also $50. I don't want to read the rest of the information to you, as I fully feel you're capable of doing so. But I know I'm one of many parents that feel our athletic and extracurriculars should be a point of community pride and a way to build connections with families in the district. Offering affordable ways to bring our community together to support students can be a tremendous opportunity for a positive public relations. I know that I have fond memories of cheering during football games and having our bleachers packed every Friday night. The entire town was there because schools were the heart of our community. Likewise, we squeezed into non-air conditioned gyms during basketball season to support both our boys and girls teams. I wasn't athletic, which I know shocks everybody, so I was in the stands, but I felt like I was part of it. Is that my time? Okay. I'll be very fast. The sense of pride I felt and the unity it brought really made the experience more than a game. Our athletic boosters had to do very little to raise money for the programs because the entire community felt like our teams were their teams. Now, I know this might sound like I'm being nostalgic, and perhaps that's true, but I don't think that any student or parent or community member should be excluded from this experience because of ticket prices. Our athletes deserve a cheering section full of students, parents, and community members. I know there are parents that do not attend every game their child participates in because they simply can't afford to do so. Sometimes they have young children at home, and so by the time they pay for siblings and adults, it's easily $30 to $40 a game. We talk about equity and inclusion all the time. It feels inequitable to have a parent of an athlete standing outside the fence. I know it happens at Grove City High School, and I suspect it happens throughout the district. I feel it's inequitable to have districts of Central Ohio with higher socioeconomic status providing more affordable options than the districts with higher poverty rates.
Is there a lot more?
No. I know that we have a passionate and smart people on this board, and I propose that we find a way to offer more affordable, all-sport, all-season options for our spectators, families, and students. I know we can list a million reasons why this cannot happen. I just want to ask, what will it take to get to yes?
Thank you. The last speaker we have is Jenny Swan.
I'm here to talk about a few different staff here in the district. The first one is Amy Gritani. She is currently on leave from her most recent position in the district as a fifth grade teacher at Hayes Intermediate. I'm not sure if this is a paid leave. I believe that it is. And if so, then why? Because I'm not really understanding that. Neither is anyone else. Just because she is the president of the teachers union does not correlate an excuse to mistreat students or tolerate the behavior. If a student had gotten in a teacher's face, we are talking inches away, face to face daily, and yelled everything he or she had to say, would this be tolerated by the district? Is this not intimidation, abuse? Amy Gritani has a history of this behavior, but yet she was just moved around after a letter on each situation was added to her file. Why does she get to sit at home and be paid to do so until the school year ends, and then she gets to retire with her full pension? She violated board policy, but it seems an exception is being made for her. Why? I will be filing a complaint against Amy Gritani for my son Levi, but this reflects all other students in his homeroom that were subjected to her abuse, students at Highland Park Elementary as well. It has been documented since February 2019 that she violated board policy. May 2021, she was put on administrative leave for 1 day in December of 22 for putting her hands on a child. April 2023, she violated board policy again. So why was it determined that part of her disciplinary action would be to move her to Hayes Intermediate and subject unsuspecting students to abuse at the hand of a teacher with a history of this very thing? Who decided that for our kids? The students and parents of those students are not okay with this. Not okay with her sitting at home and drawing a paycheck until she retires in less than 3 months.
Facts are wrong.
Since December 5th, this is about Holly Gilbert, which is the Grove City high school assistant principal. Since December 5th of 2022, my daughter Lexi Spahn has had several issues with Miss Gilbert. On December 12th, 2023, Lexi was at lunch. It was an off-bell schedule day. She went to lunch, was sitting with some kids that were not her typical table friends, and they got really loud. She kind of had a moment. She was assisted by staff, and in doing so, administration had called the situation in as a medical situation, so much that when Holly Gilbert was contacted, she stopped by the nurse's station to retrieve Lexi's life back, which is her personal anti-choking device. I watched the video of this incident, and it took 4 minutes for Holly to retrieve the life back and to show up with it. Now, mind you, this did not turn out to be a medical situation, thankfully, but it was called in as such. And in those 4 minutes, she took the time to stop by, pick up a medical device, and advise the med monitor at Grove City High School that she was not to be involved after she offered her help for Lexi. Now, mind you, this was called in as a medical situation. It could have very well been. Thank God that it was not. But Holly Gilbert on her own made that personal decision to do such a thing as to tell medical they are not to be involved for my daughter. I am asking the board to please do what the last board would not do. Do the right thing by our students, protect our students, stop covering up misguided agendas by administration, by the superintendent, follow board policy, and deal with administration staff that violates board policy repeatedly. Please, I'm begging you to set the standard high and hold each and every staff member accountable accordingly. It doesn't matter if it's a teacher that's been in the district for 20+ years, you abuse a student, you're gone. If it's an elementary school principal with a history of inappropriate behavior with a student that's witnessed by a teacher, done. I think all of these things are necessary to move forward. You have the power to right these wrongs. As a community, we need you to do so for the safety and well-being of the students in our district. I again encourage anyone that has been affected by the poor choices in this district and come forward and do your part by speaking on behalf of your student. Thank you.
Moving on, we got items for discussion.
I just have one thing. There were, do we have any of the retirees in the room this evening that we can recognize?
I do not know. Do we?
I know some just left.
No? Sorry. All right, I'd like to turn the floor over to, our board council now to talk about the next steps the board will be taking to find our next superintendent. So I'll turn it over to Omar.
Good evening, everyone. So, what we want today, obviously it's late, what we're basically looking for today is some direction from the board as to the next step so that we could prepare an appropriate presentation on the 20th and bring in some of the search firm options. So I was suggesting that perhaps if the board tonight, after we go over some of these options, pick 3 or 4 or 2 as you'd like to hear more from, and then we can reach out to those organizations. This mic is really noisy. Everybody turn it down a little bit. All right, good. No problem. Okay, so so let's go through some of the, so I put together a chart or a list of, this was not the most extensive or deep search, but it's the most commonly ones that are used in the area to kind of give a sense of what possible options exist. The first one is Ray and Associates. This happens to be the firm that Columbus City School District used. They picked them as well as Fologrim to be their PR public relations firm. They cost, and Akron also used them. They cost about $30,000 for when they were used in Akron. Columbus School District actually set aside $250,000 as part of their overall budget for their search, but they went with Ray and Associates. Then Hazard and Young, Westerville City School District paid them about $40K to do their search, and Upper Arlington also used them as well when they into 2022. Then we have K-12 Business Consulting. They've been used by a few districts. Their gold level search is about $18,000 in terms of cost. And to give an idea of what we're talking about in terms of search, because all the search companies will do something similar, although each one will come and present to you the various flavors. Some are more national in scope, some are more state of Ohio level in scope. It just depends on the one you go with. But they all go through roughly a 12 to 14 week time period because there's a process involved in getting feedback, community meetings, et cetera, getting resumes, producing the resumes, having interviews, having feedback sessions, public meetings with the lead candidates, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're looking at that over, say, a 13, 14 week, and you want somebody to start August 31st to take over as the new superintendent, we have a little bit of buffer, but not a lot. We kind of have to get moving with selecting the firm and and go forward from there. So that kind of gives you a sense of what we are talking about here. There's also the Ohio School Board Association. They also do superintendent searches. The Education and All Service Center also does superintendent searches. They might be the cheapest option among the group, as I understand, but I haven't gone into it in extreme detail. Finding Leaders is another one, smaller Ohio firm. They charged 15,500 for a smaller school district, for their search. And then you have, the Alma, advisory group, Dublin Public Schools use them out of Chicago. What I'm trying to highlight with this idea is that, most school districts in the state of Ohio are gonna be tiny compared to Southwestern City School District. And the kind of dynamic leader that can lead a district of this size with all of the various elements and parts and everything else is not the same kind of person that can handle a school district of 2,000 people or whatever, where everybody knows everybody's name and everybody's, it's just a whole different animal. So when you start thinking about the whole different animal, you have to start thinking about, well, where are those people that have some kind of experience in dealing with districts of this size? And then that's why Dublin looked to Chicago, and you could pick one, you could pick two, you could pick multiple, but I just give you this list as sort of starting the conversation to say, who would you like to hear more from on the 20th? And start thinking also about budget wise. One of the hard things about this is that there's just no guarantees. You could spend like Columbus $250,000, or you could spend 15,000 or whatnot. And it's very hard to tell in that range of money what's the amount that's going to get you that dynamic leader. We were very blessed as a community here to have a dynamic leader for 17 years. That in this industry right now is very unusual. I think the average now is 5 years or less, and there's extremely high turnover among superintendents for a variety of the same things going on politically all over the country. It's high stress, everybody's yelling at you, and everybody's, there's all that kind of dynamic. So, to think about. So again, thanks Dr. Wise for his service to the community. But I just wanted to end there and just kind of give the board some things to think about and give us some direction of who you want to hear more from on the 20th. So that's what I have.
Open the floor up to anybody that has any comments.
I think it'd be great to hear from these three.
At first glance, I am interested in the K-12 business consulting and then the ESC. Would be, in my opinion, the two that would be the most judicious in terms of finances, and I've heard good things about.
I like K-12 also. K-12, and I was thinking number 6, the McPherson and Jacobson one that focuses on a little bigger scale.
Yes, I had K-12, ESC, and McPherson and Jacobson as my 3.
So it sounds like we have a bit of consensus.
Yeah, I mean, to get
on the
3,
ones that felt were interesting.
I had, I had K-12, finding leaders and Rain Associates. So I think K-12 for sure is long can help with that.
yes. The next, I mean, with all these companies, are we just looking at Ohio, or are we going national on this?
I think we should go national too. Again, I mean, if we're the 5th largest district in Ohio, and Columbus got somebody and everybody else, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take a look outside of Ohio.
Now, with all these groups, Omar, which one is a national search?
Well, Ray and Associates and Hazard and Young are both national.
Okay,
But there's different levels of national. In other words, when you think about these we'd have to go into greater detail. Basically, by being national, it means that they have associates or people contacts in different states to basically call people, talk to folks, things like that. I don't think anybody has, at least I'm not personally aware that any organization has somebody in every single state of the country. So it's just sort of like some of them are a little bit more focused in one area or another. They're all gonna post, I think every one of them is gonna post like online, like, job search kind of things. But there's a big difference between a job posting and a recruitment. Like recruitment means you're calling somebody up on the phone and saying, hey, we got this great opportunity in Columbus. A job posting is just that, a job posting, and somebody who's intentionally looking for a job for some reason is they either want a promotion or they want a lateral move or something. It's a different kind of person that you're getting.
I do have one question about K-12. With some of these other firms, you did mention an area, district in the area that use them. Do you know offhand if anybody in the area used K-12 and if it was successful?
I didn't, again, this wasn't the because of the time.
Yeah, you're fine, you're fine.
This wasn't the most extensive, and every single one of them has been used by somebody. It just becomes like, you know, is it more rural based or whatever? So I don't have one, like, when I did some searches, nothing popped up like obvious, like, oh yeah, that's that district, kind of an answer. They are smaller, it seems to me they're more Ohio centric, but that's the whole point of bringing them in on the 20th, is that you can hear more from them, hear who they've serviced, et cetera. Actually, I take that back, I did remember seeing them on some couple of articles as being selected, I just, for whatever reason, I didn't happen to include it in the thing.
Well, I think the way we're leading now to get 3 of these companies to present to us on the 20th. So we said K-12, the others.
I think ESC, it's my understanding that they're no cost. Is that correct? So I think that just again,
ESC.
we're trying to be good stewards of the district money, that we should hear from them. There are no cost options, at least hear from them.
And
But then do we want to do a third or? Yeah.
Number 6.
We could just make it 4 if you want, and it's
I'm
not.
a K-12 guy, so I can, whatever you go.
Okay, let's go with McPherson and Jacobson.
So ESC, Pearson, and K-12 as the 3 for that, and if one of them can't be available on the 20th or whatever, we'll pick one of the other ones that was mentioned, if they're not available, because it is short time notice, they might say sorry or something, so we'll move it forward.
All right, thank you. Any other? All right, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Peterson. Roll call.
Peterson,
Yes.
D'Angelo Steele.
Yes.
Ms. Liskini.
Yes.
Mr. Martindale. Mr. Bosso.
Yes.